How's it going? Today is 22nd of June, Saturday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. Let's continue something that we have started yesterday or day before then. Then we were taking a look at steel production within the UK, as well as let's touch on recycling. And if we're gonna have enough time, we can progress to taking a look at a new topic that would be batteries, right? And what's happening, right? In the first article, let's take a look at some of the articles that was published 2 days ago. That the Chinese Tsingshan 1 billion steel plant in Zimbabwe starts production. Since a lot of companies are competing at a world's market, right? So that would mean that some of the plans that we were taking a look at, time frame was 4 months, right? In previous 4 months, NEK perhaps interested in investing into its own production capabilities within Port Talbot, and that would mean they would need to compete with some of the other players on the market who can potentially investing 1 billion, right? And UK's initial plan was to invest 500. That's dollars, and that would be pounds, right? Just to put things into perspective, as well as I don't know if it can be competitive. It's just because of the labor price as well as energy price. Just those two factors, right? Once that been said, let's continue with this article. That the Chinese nickel giant Tsingshan Holdings Group has started production at its 1 billion steel plant in central Zimbabwe. And company officially said on Thursday, Tsingshan's division iron and steel company will produce 600,000 metric tons of carbon steel annually during the first phase of its production. Project director, there is the names there, let's keep those told. The reporters during the tour of the plant, we have started to produce big iron, which is raw material used for the production of steel. Okay. So perhaps they have an interesting definition. So now it's like I don't know, yeah, a person mentioning pig, but I don't think that it would be unproduced, perhaps, or not necessarily polished, right? Or I don't know. I think the definition is completely different. But either way, so perhaps compared to English, all these kind of things, right? Tsingshan, one of the world's leading nickel producer, has made significant investment in Zimbabwe in the recent years. Apart from the steel plant, Tsingshan also ferrochrome, uh, coking coal, and lithium mining business in a southern African country. So it's something I like to touch on lithium within this video, but we have a lot of articles to cover. The company has also built a 50 megawatt thermal power plant in Dyson. Exactly, that's where potentially we can source energy, which this particular industry is very energy intensive. Is something that we touch on, and or at least I was trying to cover that as much as I can, right? As well as we do not, as of now, touching on carbon footprint, which would I believe would be very important. How this steel would be produced using what type of method, right? If they, because a lot of countries are looking to introduce carbon tax, so I don't know about all these details, but I know this particular government and how they're looking to operate. The companies also plan to build a solar power plant to reduce the impact on Zimbabwe's electricity shortage on its operations, as well as solar panels. When they're referring to that, that will be again, China is a main producer of solar panels in the world. Germany had these capabilities for some time, but it wasn't profitable, and the market was fluctuating a lot. So as of now, China, perhaps they would be taking a look at this market, right? As well as something that we were taking a look at, I thought it might be worth touching on. That would be reuse of, in particular, let's take a look at Italy moves to boost procurement reuse of critical raw materials. So reusing is something that the government's doing a lot, and I personally believe that UK should do more when it comes to reusing, right? and this article was published 4 days ago. So quickly we can touch on that. That would be bullet points. Italy has 16 raw materials deemed as critical by EU. Once they become less reliant on importing from China, since they're importing a lot, as well as plans of 2 billion euro fund to support key supply chains, right? Something I was reviewing that would be critical raw material strategy for UK, first of its kind, well, that was published last year about September. So roughly about 9 months ago. So the first strategy that was published, right? There was a board set up, and they have produced a case study. I remember definitely that it was within 9 months or something that they have produced. I can't remember exactly, but I remember that it was last year that they have done it. But either way, around June 18, Italy is set to adopt a package of measures aimed to boost bolstering procurement and all the use of critical raw materials to draft Decree C router shows, including simpler permitting procedures for the release of mining concessions. Prime Minister, okay, let's keep the names. I don't think that's important. Italy estimates it can domestically source 16 of the 34 raw materials considered critical by European Union, including lithium and oxide. Let's delve deeper. Since there's a lot of articles to cover, we will not necessarily have enough time to take a look at the entire articles and cover all of those. But if anything, it seems that Italy is doing a lot. I wish she could do a little bit more. Let's progress. Let's progress to taking a look at potentially batteries and sourcing materials, right? So it's something that we call virgin materials, and those materials that haven't been used before, as well as when we're taking a look at some of those potentially battery technologies, perhaps reusing some of those materials as well. That's something that should be important. But either way, first, let's take a look at this article. It's something that was published 4 days ago. That would be Chile lithium projects garner interest from 50 companies. As well as UK. I personally believe UK have taken part in signing agreements when it comes to trade. I think that's an agreement that includes Chile, so they might have some groundwork already been done. So let's take a look at this article, as well as we're gonna be from there we're gonna progress and coming back to UK and where they potentially can source lithium, back here. June 18, more than 15 companies have expressed interest in developing lithium projects in Chile. Finance Minister, let's keep names, said on Tuesday after a government called for proposals from a range of salt flats containing battery metals. Chile, the world's largest copper producer. Okay, okay. I don't know about other countries. I think that other countries have a lot of resources when it comes to copper, but I don't know if they're extracting and or selling that copper to a large extent compared to other countries. So I don't know if this statement is accurate, but either way, called for proposals in April to develop lithium projects in more than 2 dozen salt flats that have yet to be fully explored while serving the there's an might be project names or company names. Let's skip those. Bringing deposits for state-owned control. 54 firms from 10 countries submitted statements of interest to develop 88 projects throughout the public processes, which ended on Monday. There's names there set to Aventin, San Diego. Okay. Since we're promoting, I prefer not to promote projects or companies or people if I can, but it's very hard to do. The mining minister will later provide details on the salt flats that we have received overlapping proposals, right? So that I won't be. I'll share the rest of this article. I won't be covering that, but that potentially would be where to source different materials, right? Be highlighting perhaps copper, but it depends. There are other governments who do have a lot of resources when it comes to copper. I don't know, perhaps the prices and all these kind of things worth considering, right? Let's progress and let's come back to UK and let's see what's happening in UK. Let's take a look at some of these articles. I managed to find that to be. We're gonna be taking a look at Cornwall, and so let's see what kind of information we can find. But there is a lot of things happening, right? Since I think it's auction style process where people can, or highest bidder would receive commodity, right? So if it's a highest bidder, sometimes it could, or prices could peak very high and they can plunder a lot. So like a lot of things can happen, in particular if it's very, or entire market is very fluctuating, and that could lead to a lithium price collapse, because green transition cause headaches, right? So, for example, if a new mines to be discovered, all these kind of things that could have a major impact on overall world markets, right? I thought it worth mentioning, as well as when we're taking a look at some of the critical minerals. It was some of those governments. We were taking a look at steel, and now we're taking a look at lithium, right? Steel, I don't know if it's profitable. I don't think it is. Companies themselves have highlighted that every day they're losing £1 million. I don't know if it's actually something that they have this term was coined for some time now. Company was profitable twice in 8 years, right? But almost part, it's been said by themselves it was unprofitable, right? And now we're taking a look at lithium and having that capability for UK. That's what's really important, even if operations might be at the cost. Once that's been said, we can take a look at lithium firm secures initial 53 million investment from investors. So let's take a look at what we can find within this article. I haven't read it, and some of these articles was published a year ago. So coming into this, I think there was a contract, and two brothers from Australia have gained rights to explore and or mine lithium. But that's pretty much what I know. I haven't done anything yet within this space. I thought might as well cover that in more detail for others. Some of the bullet points that the Cornish lithium mining firm has won 33 million investment. I don't know about that raise. This is how much money they have raised to explore and develop these capabilities for UK, right? Cornish lithium deal will straighten UK's lithium supply chain. The government says, I don't know if it's profitable, by the way, but you know, what will be important. But it's critical to have that capability for UK, right? The firm plans to produce about 8 tons per year of battery grade material, which would be very important. The metal is used to make power cells to electronic devices and electric vehicles, right? As well as this morning, I was taking a look at some of the massive infrastructure projects I have taken a look at the entire area, and I was looking for solar panels. I was looking for energy production, anything. There wasn't within this particular area. There was no projects. It was more to the north, but there was nothing in this area that will lead me to believe that it would be very expensive to do anything as of now. And to get those projects approved, sometimes it can take many months, right? There was highways, roads, where other infrastructure projects, but not necessarily energy production. Or perhaps it's something worth considering, right? Once that has been said, we can take a look at this article that the lithium mining firm has secured initial investment of more than 33 million to straighten the UK's lithium supply chain. Its bosses and our government have confirmed. Cornish Lithium said UK Infrastructure Bank was leading the funding package in its first direct equity investment. Other investments include the Energy and Oil Mining Group, EMG, and Cornish Lithium, largest existing industrial shareholder. Okay, there's the companies. I'm not looking to bring more attention to those companies, right? The government said the funding will support the development of UK's critical mineral supply chain and will accelerate growth towards the commercial production of lithium, vital for UK transition to net zero. It should. UK definitely should make sure they have this kind of capability. It's just how cost effective it is to do it. I'll touch on that, right? The metal is used for power cells for everyday electronic devices, ranging from laptops to smartphones, as well as being used for electric vehicles, battery cells in particular, as well as the same battery cells can be used for smaller devices or bigger devices. Cornish Lithium plans to extract lithium from the hard rock in a repurposed China clay pit. I don't know why it's called China clay pit. Interesting name, but anyway, let's progress. Travis down, so that's the location. It said it is intended to produce about 8,000 tons per year of battery-grade lithium hydroxide. Estimate of lithium industrial markets value vary, with open report forecasting a global revenue worth almost $19 billion or 15 billion pounds, right, by 2030. So some of the estimates I thought they might have open for public investment opportunities, but when it comes to raising capital and developing those capabilities within UK, right? Either way, let's progress to another article. Let's take a look at this article. It might be same or very similar information, but it's something that was published 12 months ago. It should be accurate, and either way, I'm reading all these articles for the first time, so I thought I'll give perhaps my own perspective or take a look at some of the information that was published, right? That will be lithium mining announced in Cornwall. So something that was done very recently. The mining of battery-grade lithium carbon, a key component for electric cars, has been announced in Cornwall. A joint venture between China clay company Immerse British Lithium aims to operate in UK leading lithium hub with 5 years. Their target is to supply 500,000 electric cars with components per year by end of the decade. The development of there's name of location Austell area could potentially create at least 300 direct jobs, that company said. So potentially, right, direct, but plus administration stuff, plus driving and all coffee places, always kind of great things, right? So let's continue with this article. It is estimated there are enough resources that the life of the mine could exceed 30 years and produce 20,000 tons of lithium carbon equivalent per year. This will meet roughly two-thirds of Britain's estimated battery demand by 2030. The government has previously acknowledged the urgent need for electric vehicle battery manufacturing in the UK to secure a future of the car industry. Spokesperson for the new Cornwall project said drilling the exploration had been carried out since 2017, and the process and pilot plan has been developed. It has received financial support from Innovate UK. Okay. It's something that we were taking a look at, right? When they're saying Innovate UK, that's a non-profit organization who is potentially supporting different initiatives, as well as I have covered all the companies who are taking a look at within battery technologies, as well as the new CEO coming into effect within the next 3 months or so, right? And the Automotive Transformation Fund program to support the electrification of vehicles and all their supply chains in the UK. This particular fund, they take a look at already defined, only refined technology, not early levels. Another fund that they're referring to, right? But these capabilities would be important, and some of the funding, it's only 5 companies who can do it, or 5 or handful of companies, right? So perhaps there's something worth of concern there. But that was it, let's progress. There's people making some statements. I don't know if since that might be a lot of opinions. I haven't read this article, but let's keep that. Cornwall has rich mining heritage and will support numerous industries. First time I have heard about Cornwall and its development. That would be uh, of nations. I can't remember what author of the book, right? But he was expanding and he was sharing more perspective about the world markets, right? So if you were to extract anything, you would be competing with other mines up there in the world. In this case, someone in Chile. So if you were to compete on the price, I don't know how profitable it is, as well as energy production, very intensive markets, and no at the moment right now processes how we could reduce that energy costs compared to just articles that I have just read. Some of the initiatives taking place, how we're gonna be looking at hydro, we're gonna be taking a look at solar panels, how we're gonna reduce some of the costs. I can see nothing for Cornwall as of now taking place. It's not good. That's the reason why I'm bringing more attention to it, right? In the 80s, 70s, Boss Two Towers and tin mines and was world leader in the tin production, but with the half a century, the industry was almost dead due to foreign competition. Competing on the world stage, right? Potentially, as well as perhaps tomorrow we can take a look at the tin, and something I briefly touched on already. That if people are interested, they can invest in some of these projects. They can invest. People perhaps they can invest in this particular initiative. But if I were to compare some of those initiatives, one that I was taking a look at previously, how well organized one initiative is and how other initiative is quote unquote strong position. I don't know. I don't know. Let's. But that's a brief look, right? Perhaps people working within the industry, they sourcing operational stuff from Australia. I think there's two brothers operational, and it's just a matter of time where they could pick up the speed and create those job opportunities as well as entire industry for UK, right? And they should take a look at key areas, energy production and labor costs, right, and all these kind of things to be competitive. So administration staff, right, they should understand this. With that being said, thanks for watching. See you next one.